my name is Jason Zielinski, Associate Principal at West De Pere Middle School. Thanks for taking time to watch this short video. The athletic philosophy in West De Pere is one where the athlete is going to mature into their competition. We use the WIAA principles as guidelines, but we are not a member of the WIAA at the middle school level. We operate under a no-cut policy, which means that all athletes will be able to participate on our teams. Playing time will not necessarily always be equal. That will be a coach's decision. But all the athletes will play in the contest unless there's some kind of extenuating circumstance where the athlete may be injured, if they've missed practice, or if there have been some disciplinary reasons during the season. If the athlete wants to switch sports during the particular season, that would need the approval of the athletic director, the coach, and the parent, and there is an age 16 restriction. The requirements in order to participate: you do need to attend a code and rules meeting such as this. You'd have to have an athletic physical, which is no older than 2 years, with April 1st as that cutoff date. You need an emergency card, including proof of medical insurance. The school district does offer medical insurance for sale through an outside agency, and if that's something that you need, please contact me and I can get you that proper information. They would also then need a signed participant agreement and an assumption of risk. And once all that paperwork is filed in the office, then the athlete will receive a activity voucher that they would then in turn give to their coach, and then that's their ticket to play. Middle school students, you can get that voucher from the middle school office. Elementary students, you would receive that. We would bring it to you the first day of practice, and then you in turn would give that to the coach. Please note that this particular meeting, Code and Rules meeting, is required only one time of athletes in 5th through 8th grade with their parent. Attendance is required for a full school day in order to participate, unless it's an excused absence, and there are some excused absences listed there for you. Physical education class is required the day of any activity. School suspensions: if you're suspended from school, that would eliminate you from participation that evening. If you're suspended on Friday, then that would eliminate any weekend activities. And we ask that as you make the commitment to be a part of our teams, that you can also make the commitment that our team would come first. School teams come first when there's a conflict with other activities that are going on in the community. When you're at our contest, we do have a set of criteria that we'd like for you to follow, both as a spectator and a participant. Our school rules are always in effect. We ask for positive sportsmanship, cheering positively for our teams, no noisemakers, stay out from underneath the bleachers, especially young children, and that you not bring food or drink into any of our gymnasiums, either the middle school, Hemlock Creek, or Westwood. There is an academic eligibility requirement. The athletes must have a C or better, 2.0, and they cannot have any Fs. The grades will be evaluated early in the season and then every 2 weeks after that. If the athlete is failing a course or below a 2.0 when the grade check occurs, they'll be put on probation. That probationary period will last for 2 weeks. The grades will then be rechecked. While the athlete is on probation, they can still participate as normal in games and practices, but it's at that second grade check. If they're still failing or they have below a 2.0, then they could be removed from the team until the next grade check. I have the grade check dates listed there for you so that you know when they are. And we'd ask that if there's an extenuating circumstance that you would notify me of that in writing or with a phone call. Controlled substances must be avoided. They're illegal and they're unhealthy for athletes, particularly at the middle school level. There is an entire calendar year enforcement of this. And we'd ask that if you had a violation and you'd like to come forward with that information, there is a self-referral process in place for a first offense only, and the penalty then can be reduced in those situations. For a student who hosts an unacceptable social gathering, there is an additional consequence for that, and that's listed for you. Both the in-season and the out-of-season violations are there, as well as the unacceptable social gathering host, which would be 20% of the season that they're involved in. The athletic appeal procedure, first of all, would come to me within 5 days of the incident, and then after me, it would go to the principal, and then the principal's decision is considered final. Conduct unbecoming an athlete, your behavior, both at home, in the community, and at away contests is very important. And if your behavior is such that it's unacceptable, it could eliminate you from participation on our teams. There will be a variety of equipment that will be issued to you while you are participating on our teams, and some of that equipment is very costly. If you were to lose or damage the equipment during the season, you would be responsible for that cost. We'd ask that, particularly with uniforms, that you wash them after every contest. Please don't use too much detergent, and when you dry them, please dry them on low, or you can hang them. Hanging is always the best way to dry them. At the end of the season, please return your uniforms promptly, clean. And during the season, uniform wear is not for outside the contest. You should not be wearing the uniform on the weekends, to the mall, at home. There will be an opportunity for you to wear your uniform 2 times during the season as a team function, and the coach will be the one who will set what those 2 dates are, and you'll do that then with your teammates. So please talk to your coach about when you can wear your uniform to school on 2 days during the season. There will be conflicts that will come up during the year, and so it's important that we have a process to handle those conflicts. First of all, we'd ask that the student would go and speak with the coach. You could certainly bring another student with you if you felt more comfortable to try to resolve the conflict that way. Oftentimes it ends at that step. If it's still not resolved, then parent, we'd ask for you to get involved, to set up a meeting with the coach to discuss the issue. And then third, I would be included, and then fourth, the principal would be included. Parents, we ask especially that you not address the coach immediately prior to or after a contest, because it's at these times that emotions are running high, and oftentimes those conversations do not end positively and do not get the intended result. So we'd ask that you let some time expire between when the incident occurred and when you have an opportunity then to follow up with the coach to discuss what the concern is. There is travel provided to our contests, particularly with 7th and 8th grade sports. We'd ask that you utilize the school means of transportation. If it becomes necessary for you to take your child after a contest home with you, the coach has been instructed only to release the athletes to a parent, legal guardian, or grandparent. No one else will be allowed to take your child from the event. If you have a situation where you need a friend to take your child home with them, please notify us of that in writing at least a day before or immediately prior to the event, and then we can make arrangements to do that. Injuries are going to occur during the season. We have a service that the high school provides where they have a certified athletic trainer. That trainer can help get your child back on the participating surface more quickly. So we'd ask that you take advantage of that service. Oftentimes, if you take the child to a family doctor, they will simply tell you to sit out for a week or two. And with a season that lasts only 6 weeks, that really can eliminate them from participation. Again, it's a free service, and the trainer's name and number is listed there for you. Pickup and drop-off times. There are practices that occur well after the school day, and so it's necessary that the athlete will go home right after school, take the bus or whatever means of transportation they have to get home, and then return back for practice. They cannot stay through for a 4 o'clock or a 5 o'clock practice. We'd ask parents that they not return back to school any more than 10 minutes before the practice begins. And then at the end of the practice, you would please make sure and be picking them up in a timely fashion. It's nothing more frustrating for a coach than to have to be waiting around for athletes to be picked up well after practice has ended. And that's a responsibility for us as well, that we begin and end practices on time, and we certainly have made a commitment to do so. Picture days are listed there for you. Ambrosius Studios does a great job with our pictures. Please feel free to participate in that as you desire. And we have some communication tools that we're going to utilize throughout the year. Current game schedules can always be found online. We also have copies printed for the athletes to pick up in the commons at the middle school. Any updates that need to take place will be put on our website. If we have immediate information that needs to get out to you, such as a practice is canceled due to weather or a game is canceled due to weather, we have a couple of avenues for you. One is that you would become a follower on Twitter of our West De Pere Middle School account. So that's one option for you. Or the second option, new this year, we would actually send you a text message through a program. In order for me to sign you up for that program, I would need your cell number and your provider. And that's not something that is given to an outside agency. That's simply something we would use in-house. I would add you to our text list, and then if a practice is canceled, you'd get an immediate text about that event. I certainly hope that your child has a positive experience with middle school athletics. Thank you again for your time, and have a great school year. Go Phantoms.
At this time, in order to have your session recorded, you must go back to the middle school website where you clicked on the video link and find the Code and Rules survey, and then complete the survey. Thank you again.